What's the worst thing you've ever found in your food at a restaurant? How the actual heck do some of these things get in people's foods? A tooth inside my hamburger. I was too scared to ask why that happened. So I just threw it away and got out of the place. A short and curly hair between two eggs. It did not come from somebody's head. When I was working at a hospital in the dietary department, we had a pizza day one day of the month. So we got in pre-made crusts so we could make the pizzas quickly. Made them all and proceeded to slice them when one of them had an electrical wire coiled up throughout the entire base of the pizza. I was like 15 or 16 at the time, and I remember being absolutely shocked at how an entire wire could be coiled into a pizza crust. The wire was like a teal color and the color had leaked into the surrounding dough. Man, that was messed up. Glass. When I was in 7th grade, my family was eating one of those big family style salads at an Olive Garden. I'm weird and eat salad with a spoon. I put a spoonful of salad into my mouth and felt something cut the inside of my cheek while I bit down on something hard. I pulled out a bloody chunk of glass. The restaurant accused us of lying, even though we didn't ask for anything in return. We just wanted to let them know so no one else got hurt. Plus, if we were going to lie, why would my parents have chosen their 13-year-old daughter to be the target of salad glass? They did end up comping me and my dad's meals, but we still paid for my mom's and other siblings. Half-chewed acrylic nail. I went to a local chain restaurant and ordered a steak salad. I started choking halfway through the meal and couldn't cough out the foreign object. I ran to the bathroom and made myself throw up, only to find out that it was an aluminum bread tie that had been lodged in my throat. Never went back. An eye patch in my salad. I was friends with the owner, cook. They swore it was not a joke, had no idea how it got there. I was given a dirty spoon at the local Waffle House. When I asked for a replacement, the waitress got upset and gave me a long explanation as why the dirty spoon was not her fault since the previous shift had washed them. I simply replied, "But you are the one that gave it to me." I don't think she liked me. Now I love the taste and consistency of Lindt chocolate balls. But I purchased an assorted bag and bit into a white chocolate ball to see the inner creamy chocolate portion. And staring back at me was a human hair half sticking right out at me. Smack dab in the middle. Took pictures and sent to Lindt. They thought they'd make it good with me by sending me more chocolate. A girl's shoe. I was dining outside once and this little girl was jumping around dancing nearby while waiting for her parents. I guess my back was to her, so I didn't see what happened. She must have done a little kick of her foot at one point because her shoe went flying up in the air and landed in my dinner. Her father came over shortly thereafter and bought me a replacement. And then he gave her a talking to. Having a peaceful dinner interrupted by a sparkly kid landing in it was a bit surreal. Part of a screw. I had to assume it came from the industrial shelving in the kitchen. When I brought it to their attention, they offered me a free meal next time. There wasn't one. Primarily because they closed down. One time my family ordered pizza for takeout from a local pizza place. When we got home and opened it, there was a huge tangled hairball on the pizza. It was a hairball the size of a golf ball at least. I have no idea how that could happen. I was at a local restaurant chain, Northeast US, and ordered a buffalo chicken wrap. Got about halfway in and bit into a large metal bolt and chipped my tooth. Not a good time. 0/10 recommend. Not really a restaurant or a thing, but one time I picked up some Jack in the Box for breakfast one lazy morning, and when I opened up the sandwich I ordered, there was a bite taken out of just the sausage patty. I was both confused and pissed off, just like WTF. I called Jack in the Box, and they said that it wasn't a bite mark, but that a conveniently shaped segment of the sausage patty had just fallen off, and that they had found the missing part. They gave me a new sandwich. I'm not sure I buy their story though. Bizarre experience lol. Y'all are making the bug eggs. https://i.imgur.com/2ru6hq6.jpg. In my pan or a salad seem absolutely appetizing. A giant chunk of hair in my salad. Like, it wasn't even a good prank, because as soon as I started mixing it, I saw this massive chunk of hair and stopped. I sent it back, and the waitress asked, "Would you like a replacement salad?" I said, "Hell no. I wanna pay whatever I owe for the drinks, and go somewhere else." She got the manager, that I definitely didn't ask for, or want to speak to. Manager said drinks were on the house, and asked me to stay, and let him make it up to us. I politely declined, since he was being so polite. I took my free drinks and left. Never went back there again. I did get about $30 or $40 worth of free alcohol out of it though. I didn't ask for it, but it was nice of him to do that. My girlfriend at the time was so grossed out by this giant ball of hair that she actually started dry heaving. That's what got the waitress's attention. Not restaurant but close enough. Not even sure I want to. I still throw up at this story. Ordered Domino's pizza, started eating, got down to the last 2 slices, saw a slithery slimy thing, and lifted up the slice to a used condom. It had leaked all over my other slices, but I didn't notice, and assumed grease etc. Was hungry. Drove down to the store, and asked for the manager. No such luck. Got photos and went to higher up. Turns out 2 employees having sex. I'll presume fired. I got given a code for the online website, free pizza for a year. But like hell, I'd ate 6 slices of semen pizza. A pubic hair, the server just laughed it off, and I never went back to that place. My brother and I went to eat at a Mexican restaurant, and I came in a few minutes after him. We ate through that basket of chips, and we brought a refill, but the chewed up gum in the wrapper was facing me instead of him this time. I turned around and said, "Gross, I don't want your nasty chewed up gum on my side." His eyes got as big as saucers, and he said, "That's not my gum." The restaurant did not change the pieces of wax paper in the bottom of the chip basket. My brother immediately spit the mouthful of chewed up chips and saucer into the chip basket, and we notified our waiter. We saw our waiter pick up the basket of chips, walking into the kitchen, dump the whole thing in the top of the chip warmer. Yes, my brother's chewed up chips were dumped into the restaurant's supply of chips. A large mosquito looking fly with an incredibly long proboscis in a salad I was eating. I turned over 1 leaf of lettuce, and it was laid out beautifully with the proboscis fully unfurled. It looked like a fossil, perfectly preserved in vinaigrette. Like it almost had to have been placed that way on purpose. I don't think I was a dick to that waiter, but maybe? I'd say a bunch of hairs in my cheese. I continued eating after the first and second. I'm not picky, was hungry, but then they just started coming, and I found more than 10. I wonder how that food was prepared. A staple in my Chinese food. Not me, but when I was at Panera my friend found an Allen wrench in her salad. Like how TF does that happen? The last 2 times I went to Steak and Shake, I got earrings in my shakes both times. One was a stud earring and the other was a hoop. I wouldn't eat there ever again, even if it was my only choice. A piece of copper in my egg roll, and once I found metal bristles from a scrub brush in my lobster roll. Not a restaurant, but in elementary school I found half of a pencil in my sausage biscuit. My friend found the other half in his. Story time. I worked in food trailers as a summer job in college. We went to a new festival in the state next to us along a large river where they were having boat races. The health inspector tells us that we need screens all around the trailer. We have nothing like this. With our semi-skill and a trip to the hardware store we quickly build large screen frames and put them up in the trailers. 2 days later, the mayflies emerge from the river by the millions. I cannot tell you how horrible this was for a kid nowhere near a large body of water like this. In the seconds it took to open a window to serve food, a mayfly or 2 would get in and crash dive into the fryers. This was not really the worst as we were able to fish out the bugs before serving any food. Now for the worst part. A couple days later a new horror spawns from the river. This time it is these tiny bugs that easily fit through the screen holes. There are even more of these than the mayflies. They literally covered any light source, blacking out the outside lights. They were everywhere and got into the food. We notified the health inspector who just shrugged and didn't really care since it was a problem for everyone, even the people that were prepared. We served deep fried food with little black specks in it all night for 2 nights straight. We may have had 3 or 4 people complain, even though we were slammed all night. Apparently they never saw big onion rings before, and we were a hit. We made over $9,000 each night in that trailer alone, and every person that ordered our food got at least 10 to 20 tiny bugs in their order. At school I found a fucking tooth in my burrito, and it wasn't mine. Nothing but tomatoes, after telling the dude to put everything but tomatoes. Client bit into a shard of metal in his beef soup, broke his tooth. Got $10K from the restaurant. A completely raw chicken wing covered in sauce in a basket of cooked chicken wings. A cabinet hinge in a salad. It's not what was in the food, but the state of the food. This incident that I'm about to describe was all my fault for not knowing better. I do not blame the restaurant in the slightest. So, it's one of those buffet places where you grab your stuff and go, right? Well, I wanted meat, so I was in the meat area and grabbed a few tasty looking things to eat. I headed back to my table, took a few bites, and realized something was off. The meat was raw. Turns out, I was meant to pick the meat I wanted cooked and take it to one of the chefs, but there were no signs or anything telling me to do this, plus I didn't see the chefs, so I ate raw meat. I really should have known it was raw from the way it looked, but I was a bit of an idiot at the time. I waited an entire day with bated breath, but I didn't get any food poisoning or anything. Given that it was literally raw meat, I got lucky. Don't try this at home, kids. I found a small plastic monkey, think barrel of monkeys, that was used as a decoration throughout the restaurant in my salad. Metal screw buried in my waffle. Half a green caterpillar in my salad. Dennis Camelback Road. Phoenix. Pubes at the bottom of my fries from an In-N-Out that I found after I already ate the fries. I feel queasy every time I see an In-N-Out fries. Live lava on my Picodi Gallo at a vegan chain restaurant. I emailed their corporate customer relations about it, and they dismissively responded with something along the lines of, "We use all organic ingredients, so this is to be expected." Too organic for me. I used bandage with blood on it in my guacamole. Ye found it when it went into my mouth. Not my story, but years ago someone ordered a pizza from a semi-fancy pizza place, not Pizza Hut budget, but not 5-star restaurant. When they got the pizza they found there was a squish rat on the bottom of the base. Ratatouille went splattertouille. I have 2. A metal bolt in my pancake and a cricket in the bottom of my milkshake. Worst thing I found in my food was what turned out to be cardboard from the box of mushrooms, but was unidentifiable when I pulled it out of my mouth initially. Worst thing my boyfriend found in his food, an M in a burrito from Taco Bell that may or may not have been dropped out of the mouth of the person who made the burrito at Taco Bell. It was horrific. The mystery. My BF called the Taco Bell and demanded to know if because it was the holidays people had been throwing around MS or something. The manager looked in the back and said, "Huh, now that you said it, I'm seeing a lot of MS back here." I found a full receipt crumpled up into the size of a marble in the gravy of a Yorkshire pudding at an English pub style restaurant. I bit on it, was confused, pulled it out of my mouth, and unwrapped a full legible receipt from the night before. I showed the waiter, and he said he talked to the owner. The owner said I could choose to pay my bill or the receipt I found in my food. The total on the receipt I found was almost $30 more than what I ordered. I was shocked with the service and never went back. I also left without paying. Fuck that place. Worms. I'm a chef and all of the monkfish has to be checked for parasites when we get it. Any fish can have parasites, but monkfish is the only one where I have to cut the wiggling bastards out myself. It's safe to eat, but I won't order it anymore, no matter how delicious it is. Ignorance is bliss. Went to McDonald's years and years ago, ordered a McChicken. Took a huge bite, tasted funny blue moldy lettuce. Like, when you're making the food, how can you not tell the lettuce is moldy? It was all blue. Not a restaurant, but I opened a large bag of chips once and found a factory worker's glove inside. Not so much disgusted as I was baffled. I got a cream cheese baguette on the go and was eating it while walking, did not really look at what I was biting into. One bit was quite difficult to chew, and I pulled a finger of a latex glove out of my mouth. I had a small dead roach in a bowl of butter once. I was sitting at the bar, and so when I saw it and freaked out, the bartender equally freaked out, and she very apologetically replaced it. It's the South, it was raining, they had the bowls of butter under the bar ready to hand out with the bread, so I didn't storm out or anything. Shit happens. I received a sandwich with shards of what must have been half a dozen toothpicks. I had once a wasp in my cake. It was dead, and I didn't have to pay. An inch-long bolt in my mashed potatoes. Fortunately I found it with my fork, and not my teeth. The maitre d' informed me later that the bolt had fallen off of their industrial mixer. Nothing as bad as some of these comments, geez. A little bit of plastic wrapping in a side salad, guess they ripped the bag. A hair or two in a breakfast skillet. At least they took it off the bill without us asking when we brought it up. I think I pissed some McDonald's employees off because it looked like they were going through some intense balding judging by the amount of hair that was in my burger. A clump of hair. I still gag to this day whenever I drive by a Burger King. Bit into a grilled chicken sandwich that was almost 100% gristle. Most disgusting bite of my life.